Welcome to the POMcast with Steve Willis, your independent, unbiased, and unbought source for Ole Miss athletics. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Coming to you live-ish. Well, we record this live. It's going to be recorded for most of you, but we're coming to you from the Central Florida studios. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Stephen Willis. And we're going to spend the next half hour or so talking about a little Ole Miss sports and problems with the media and where they're failing the general public. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk a little bit about Coach O. We're going to get into basketball. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Texas A&M cancellation and what that means. And we're going to basically talk about recruiting. Today is Wednesday, so it should be Brandon Buckhalter Day. Tomorrow is McCallum Pounders Day. It was supposed to be one yesterday, I think, a surprise that fell through. But that happens. So, welcome to the POMcast. Again, I am your host, Stephen Willis, from the palatial Central Florida studios. I am happy to be with you today. Just to let you know, you can follow us at the Stephen Willis or at Ole Positively. You can hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. You can join our Facebook group at Positively Ole Miss. Thank you for doing so if you already have. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Positively Ole Miss. This will help you in a couple of months when we go live and start streaming to let you know when we're on the air. And the way this is going to work is we'll have some kind of 5-minute border slide to let everybody know we're going on, and then we're going to go live. So just aware, you can go back and catch it on demand. It's going to be basically working like that. Time to take my medicine, which I already have. And you can catch us on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. Thank you very much for doing so. If audio is more your thing, and judging by the numbers, it's more your thing, you can catch us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. We're on minor podcatchers as well, but there are just too many of them to name. If we were going to name them all, we would take up the whole show. So again, thank you for joining us today. We have not really much to talk about. I mean, we have Brandon Buckhalter, and we can break him down. We can talk a little bit about my favorite recruit of this class, and that is J.J. Henry. He has not committed, but it's looking like he's going to sign with Ole Miss down the road. The last time I had that feeling watching a highlight tape is when I cut up video of Dexter McCluster. Now, I'm not saying J.J. Henry is Dexter McCluster. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the last time I had that feeling was cutting up Dexter McCluster. And I'm excited just to get him on campus. He's going to be more of a Jalen Waddle type slot than an Elijah Moore type slot. Now, I'm not calling him Elijah Moore, and I'm not calling him Jalen Waddle. I'm saying stylistically and how it would look. Elijah Moore is more of a phone booth player. Jalen Waddle is just kind of a freakishly fast player. So, and also J.J. Henry runs a lot of double moves at McKinney North in Texas, and obviously that will be the order of the day at Ole Miss. They're also recruiting other receivers. Braylon Brown, as you've seen a video on this site. Brandon Buckhalter. They're also recruiting Malik McCain, a wide receiver from IMG, originally from Alabama. He's a 4-star, one to keep an eye on. They're recruiting Deion Smith. It doesn't look like they're going to turn Deion Smith, but they're recruiting Deion Smith. and basically all the momentum in the world is on their side. So there's people, again, trying to tear them down because that's their playbook. It's not improve their recruiting, it's tear down our recruiting. We must be doing something wrong if we're winning. So that's starting back up, which means things are going well. And we are starting to build momentum to a probably mid to low 20s finish in a class where we couldn't have any visitors. And this is all based off of the performance and the fun they're projecting on the field. Since you can't visit the campus and see the facilities yourself. This is all based off of that. So they've done a really good job of branding and marketing the program and to help them in recruiting. And that's worth, I don't know, an attaboy. I mean, it's a really good job. Sorry about that. So you take into the account that's what recruiting is looking like. And I was joking about today being Brandon Buckhalter Day. He's a combo guy, wide receiver, safety. We don't know really where he's going to end up. He's built like when he plays wide receiver like Dante Moncrief. That's the comparison. And he played MIAS this year, MAIS, along with Deion Smith, and both of them, it looked like just men among boys. And there was MAIS like 6A they were playing. It was not a postcard for that division of football. Not saying players can't come out of there. I'm saying that the average player is significantly worse than the public school player. Period. There's not really any way to get around that. But today at about 6 o'clock, Brandon Buckhalter is supposed to announce his commitment. He decommitted from Mississippi State. They're saying, basically locked to Ole Miss. And same goes for McCaleb Pounders tomorrow. So commits over the next couple of days are on the menu. And it appears that Luke Altmaier has some coattails. Well, anyway, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back in a second. We're going to talk a little more recruiting, little hoops. Stick around.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen. As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
Welcome back, POMcast. Stephen Willis, right here on Positively Ole Miss. Thanks a ton. We are getting together our ad model for those that want to join the show. it will be probably the most inexpensive thing out there. Yeah, it's going to undercut pretty severely all ad models that are out there. So if you want to advertise with us, we're talking $50 a month for 20 plus shows. It's about $2.50 an episode to advertise on the podcast. We're not really ready to sell that yet. We're going to stick with our VA stuff for the time being, but sometime around April, we're going to bring that up and start selling. And just keep that in your back pocket. I mean, you can advertise for $2.50 a show. That's about the cost of a Big Mac. So that's what we're looking at there. And we're going to sell basically a ton of them. We're going to volume sell ads, have a plan for how I'm going to get there and who I'm going to target. But once we go, we are going to go full go. And a lot of that has to, we got to get past the Christmas season. We got to get past the new house phase down here that I'm in. And once we get settled in, we can move on to the next phase, which looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. I mean, we're looking at selling 15 ads, 16 ads per show. So that's pretty exciting. And we haven't really decided whether or not we were going to bundle. It's like if you sell an ad for this and it goes over to around the SEC, it goes over to other shows that we are currently planning. Little surprise. We're working on trying to find semi-knowledgeable people, and we'll just, we'll drop them a little bit of money per month. We might sell ads for their shows so they would do it. But that's the plan. And, it's not going to make a ton of money. It's not designed to make a ton of money. It's basically designed to make this podcast not a money loser. You make it money neutral and you're golden. That's the plan. Again, once we go to video, those 4 things at the beginning: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, those will be available for use for the video side. We're still going to do an audio podcast. We're still going to try to present that in a way that is audio friendly. And so just stick around for that. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be unlike anything that Ole Miss fans have seen before. And it's just going to be really cool. We'll have the ability to put up Facebook questions or Twitter questions on the screen. We're going to have the ability to make it look like a TV show. It's going to be really cool. Speaking of really cool, how about Coach Yo, 3-0? They beat Alcorn State last night. Went over 100 points for the second or third straight game. Now, we're not anything going to prop them up. We're not going to build them up higher than they are. But 3-0 from where this team was projected, let's just say they had a low bar to clear to start this season, and they've done that. And so far, they've been a pretty exciting team to watch. Of course, that could be, part of scheduling. It could have been something Coach Yo put together to look like that. All this could be on purpose. This could be a confidence building exercise. And when we play South Carolina, we're in trouble. Or this team could be a 16-14 type team. We don't know. they could start out well because of the schedule and start stacking losses on each other. We'll just have to see how it goes. But the early returns on the women's basketball program is positive. Now, I think they've played 2 SWAC teams and McNeese. So we need to keep that in mind as well. But they're scoring 100 points and they're beating them by 60 points. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Everybody plays bad teams. There's a way you're supposed to handle them. And they're doing that. So I don't know what to make of what I'm seeing. I mean, it could very well be a Mirage, and those are just 3 very bad teams, and it's a product of scheduling. But there could be a spark there. There could be some confidence there. This team could be better than we thought. Now, they still could be 14th in the SEC. I'm not saying they're not. But they could be better than we thought. Again, this team had a very low bar to clear, but they were number 1 on signing day in the conference, and there's a lot of good things and a lot of positive energy with that program. So just keep an eye on it. You don't have to necessarily invest anything in it, but it is a way for you to kind of stick your toe in basketball. And speaking of basketball, tomorrow night, Thursday night, Ole Miss tips off for the first time this season against Jackson State. They had to close down their program, close down their building because of COVID last week, and they finally got that cleared up, and they can open it up. And I think it's 3 games in 5 days or something. 2 games in 5 days. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but the season is going to start and is kind of going to rapid fire. Now you're going to see teams that are being played that is relatively close to the University of Mississippi, to Ole Miss, especially out of conference, because on a Wednesday night, you have to be able to get here. It isn't like football where you can just postpone and reschedule, because the trip is going to cost a lot of money and there's logistics involved. So you're going to see them play Jackson State. You're going to see them play Central Arkansas. Now, are we going to play a high-end school like Wichita State or whoever? I think we're playing an American team, are supposed to as well. But yeah, sure. But if that game gets canceled, it's in danger of not being replayed. That's the point. But if you schedule locally, you can reschedule that at time, and it's a bus ride. Jackson State can be in Oxford in 2.5 hours. That's what I'm saying. Central Arkansas can be in Oxford in 2.5 hours. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say. But the team should be kind of fun to watch. Devontae Shuler, Demencio Vaughn, Romello White, to go along with KJ Buffin and those guys, Austin Crawley. They should be relatively fun to watch. And this leads into a recruiting cycle where next year, I think Deshaun Ruffin from Callaway and James White from Georgia are coming in, both of which are high-end players. You can honestly see momentum building with the basketball program. Honestly, both of them. I mean, if Coach Yo was doing a PR thing, it's this, and this is a schedule quirk, it's working. Because now I know they're 3-0. I did not know last year. I did not know what their record was. I did not know who they were playing. I just knew we had a team at that point. That was my investment level with them. This year, I know they're 3-0. I know they're scoring over 100 points roughly a game. Like I said, that could be a product of the schedule. But that would be the point of it being a product of the schedule. I don't know if this is a PR thing by Coach O. I don't know how good this team is. I think this team is better than we thought they were going to be. I don't know how much, and I don't know what that means. So the best advice for Coach O's group is just kind of box score follow them for a little bit. And then increase your investment as you get comfortable. Because I think they're better than we thought they were going to be. It's hard to score 100 points in basketball. And I think they've done that 2 out of 3 times. Oh, that's right. They beat Kansas. That's the other game. I think it's McNeese, Alcorn, and then they beat Kansas. So I just don't know what this means. And it's okay to say you don't know what this means. But it could be a mirage. And it could be a setup. But we'll have to see what's going on. All right, POMcast segment 3 coming up. Stick around.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
Hey, POMcast, Stephen Willis, right here on Positively Ole Miss. Thank you for listening. A lot going on at Casa with us. Right now, I am doing a painting project and flooring project in the living room. We're on day 3 of it, so I'm recording this, let's just say early. By most of y'all are asleep, or at least the same ones are. And also a fencing project in the backyard, doing that as well. So I've got a lot going on, but that explains the early recording time. But the show airs at 10 o'clock Central anyway, so we need to make sure we have a show in place for you guys that really just honestly just gets it. And I'm just very impressed. But segment 2 was quite a bit of Coach O and the Lady Rebs basketball team, and that's kind of a surprising thing, and it wasn't planned. I was going to go into Kermit and his guys, Demencio Vaughn and Romello White and Devontae Schuler and Dream, and they've got some dudes on this team. You're looking at a front court that is going to be Dream and Romello White. He's going to play the 4. Then the 3 guards will be some combination of Vaughn, Schuler, Crowley. You have KJ Buffin if you need to go bigger. I mean, there's some flexibility with this roster. That's the point. And honestly, it's a disservice that tomorrow is the first time that we're going to get to see them. And I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, you have Romello White that can just jump out of the gym. You have Demencio Vaughn, who actually went to Callaway for a year and then went off, and then I forget the school. I think he was at Rider maybe, and then transferred. But he's going to provide that energy. There's Jarkel Joyner that transferred in from, I think, Cal State Bakersfield, who can just jump out of the gym, that plays the two. Like you're going to see some Devontae Schuler, Jarkel Joyner, and Demencio Vaughn to go with Romello White and Dream at center. That is my guess at a starting five. Of course, my guess means nothing on this because when it comes to basketball and baseball, I'm just an Ole Miss fan. There is a limit to how deep I can dive into that. I'm going to try and find people to fill an expert role. But this will most of the time be a football podcast and football recruiting and spring football, because honestly, that's what sells. I mean that's what you want. They're constantly worried about that, especially now with a spring or early signing day that is December 16th to 19th. That's a week from today, by the way. And the February signing day and spring practice in April, which is going to go through into May probably, or into March after spring break. And then you have the lull of the summer months. I can't wait for those. It's all predictive. This is important. This is the number one player that we're looking at. Please stay tuned. And you see a whole bunch of people that don't really know what they're talking about, trying to come up with content to make it look like they know what they're talking about. That's so much of this job. Especially for I'm on air quote this, journalist, and they want to sound like they know what they're talking about. They want to be the expert. They want the notoriety that comes with that, but they don't put in the work to actually understand what they're seeing. They're trying to learn a sport by osmosis, essentially. Can't do that. You have to pay attention. You have to really like it. If you don't really like it, you're in the wrong business. I mean, it's just the way it is, because everybody can point out a fake. There is we have to do this, and it's there because that's the only option. Well, there's options developing now. So the one that knows the most is going to win. That's just the way this works. So, again, if you go back and listen to the podcast, our ad model is coming into focus. We're going to start selling in about 3 months for the new TV show, the video portion, that is going to launch probably sometime in April. And in doing so, we'll be able to sell that bulk. We're basically going to be able to do that, and it's going to be about the price of a Big Mac per show to advertise on this. So it's probably the best value in advertising right now. So we'll let you know more when we know more. Anyway, that's the show for today. Thank you so much for listening, spending your time with me. Have a good day. Hotty toddy.